This man was knocked unconscious. The phone rings non-stop, but he simply couldn't reach it because his lower half is already covered with concrete. The concrete mixer next to it doesn't stop spinning. The two girls pretended not to hear the man's cry for help, poured concrete directly on him. Want to bury him? What enmity do they have? The story from you who clicked like and followed Zam began. During the rest of the two brothers on duty, eating food by the roadside, suddenly the walkie-talkie rang, saying someone reported a crime. In Tan Hoa Dai Ha 704 a family dispute occurred. Tam Lang immediately got up and prepared to go there, but a connoisseur like Mon Can can't bear to just skip the seafood porridge. He angrily asked Tam Lang to come see the situation first. Tam Lang knew that this was not in accordance with the rules, but under duress, he had to leave alone. Tam Lang goes to Duong Sam's Duong Quang Street. The wall at the back began to sway, and Tan Hoa Dai Ha, quiet and scary. No professional protective gear, only a few lights on. Tam Lang is a brave man who directly took the elevator to the 7th floor alone, through the complex corridor, finally arrived at house number 704. At this time, the walkie-talkie on his shoulder made a strange sound. He rang the doorbell of house 704. A girl with messy hair, Kim Lean, opened the door cautiously. Tam Lang said someone reported domestic violence to the police here. Kim Lean consistently denied that she never reported it to the police. Tam Lang continued to do his usual work, asking for some basic information, and in the room suddenly came a strange sound. The girl also changed concealment. This made Tam Lang very skeptical. At this time, Mon Can had eaten enough and called to ask about the situation. After learning that the other party denied reporting to the police, he breathed in fragrance and told Tam Lang to wait there. He immediately came. Tam Lang turned off the phone like cutting chicken blood. He asked to go inside to check, but Kim Lean always blocked the door, using an imploring voice, told Tam Lang to leave quickly. Tam Lang said people still haven't explained clearly, so he will persist until the end. It was at the moment when the two of them were fighting each other. Inside suddenly came the voice of Madame Vuong. Tell him to come in. Kim Lean had no choice but to cautiously let Tam Lang into the room. After San Lang entered the room, carefully observed a bunch, but found nothing out of the ordinary. In front of his eyes, Madame Vuong is sitting in front of the sewing machine constantly busy. But the clacking sound just now was the sound of the sewing machine. Tam Lang softly called out to a beautiful woman. Then the weird thing happened. This guy received a phone call to the police. He hurriedly ran to house 704. Madame Vuong in front of him was busy sewing clothes. Originally didn't care about him. Tam Lang saw that Madame Vuong's face was covered by her hair. Can't help but want to pull it out. But unexpectedly, something unexpected happened. Mrs. Vuong turned her head and looked up at Tam Lang. Kim Lean on the side was threatened. The cross-section no longer had blood drops. Talk slow, act fast. Madame Vuong suddenly pulled Tam Lang's hand and put it under the sewing machine. Tam Lang was extremely painful. Kim Lean then took the syringe again and stabbed him in the neck. Tam Lang could not bear the pain and fell to the ground. With the effect of the anesthetic, all around, becoming more and more blurred, he finally fainted. At this time, Mon Can was on his way, but he lost his way. Finally followed the guide through such a Duong Quang alley, but there was nothing unusual about the wall behind him. It was at this moment that a light in the dark night entered his eyes. Tam Lang was woken up by the sound of the phone ringing, was surprised to find out that he was lying in a hole again. Even more monstrous, the lower half of the body was filled with concrete. He panicked and cried out for help. Which concrete mixer next to is still working? Seeing this situation, it looks like it's about to be released. Would you like to try? Sure enough, Mrs. Vuong and Kim Lean pulled the concrete mixer over. Seeing that the situation is not good, Tam Lang loudly became angry. My colleague is on his way here. Release me quickly or you will be in trouble. The two pretended not to hear. On the contrary, he directly poured concrete on Tam Lang. Tam Lang quickly collapsed and shouted loudly. Under the attraction of a beam of light, Mon Can reach Tan Hoa Dai Ha and also find security here. Even more bizarre, the security guard said he didn't see anyone going up. Moreover, this place has been vacant for 7 years now. Next month will be demolished. The whole building was empty, so it was impossible for anyone to report to the police. After listening, Mon Can broke out in a cold sweat. Hurried to go with the security guard to look up. Inside the small area echoed Tam Lang's cry for help, but Mon Can did not hear. At this time, Tam Lang was covered with concrete to the shoulder. He was extremely scared and kept calling for help, but the mother and daughter next to her did not say a word. Only silent action works. Seeing more and more concrete, Tam Lang wanted to beg Kim Lean to forgive him, but under the coercion of Mrs. Vuong, Kim Lean was powerless to save him. This Mrs. Vuong suddenly added, giving Tam Lang two options. One is to choose to die quickly. She will use concrete to pour all over Tam Lang. In 30 seconds, Tam Lang will die. Second choice, she will have Tam Lang put a breathing tube in his mouth, then poured concrete all over him, Leave only those breathing tubes to breathe, so he can live a little longer. Tam Lang was threatened with losing his secret, hastily chooses to hold a breathing tube and refuses to give up. In his heart, there was a glimmer of illusion, hoping to be found by Mon Can. Mon Can now hastily chased to room 704, but inside it was dark, inherently no one. He went around calling Tam Lang, but from beginning to end, no one answered, but he could faintly hear Mrs. Wang's voice. He took out his phone and called again. Who would have thought that the sound of the phone ringing came from the ground? Threatening Mon Can blinked on the ground, unable to calm down for a long time. Along with the rhythm of the phone ringing, Mrs. Buang pushed the concrete mixer slowly closer. In the end, Tam Lang was filled with concrete. Only one breathing tube was left on the ground. The next day the police arrived. On the ground discovered Tam Lang's phone. Then carefully observed there is a set of remains. When they continued to break it down, they suddenly discovered another set of remains on the wall. Through forensic examination, the two have been dead for 20 years. The head part was attacked, then buried in concrete. The identities of the two were also discovered. They were mother and daughter. The killer is Kim Lin, Vu Dailang's boyfriend. This person has no job and owes a large amount. After asking for money, Kim Lin did not took advantage of his job, conspired to use concrete to kill two people. Because that year, the evidence was not enough and could not be found, Vu Dailang was finally freed from the punishment of the law. But half a year after this happened, he also died in a car accident. What makes people even more dumbfounded is that from beginning to end, they can't come to find Tam Lang, and the killer who killed the man 20 years ago is exactly the same. Mon Can was fined because he left his position. He broke down in his heart, so he chose to resign, just because he wanted to find Tam Lang. More than 20 years later, he became a vagabond, from start to finish. He still hasn't given up on finding Tam Lang, spending the whole day at Tan Hoa Dai Ha's side going back and forth. The luck has changed. This place has become a prosperous new area. Looking at the flow of people passing by, he couldn't stop embarrassed. It was at the same time that the familiar phone rang next to it. That's right, it's Tam Lang's phone ringing. Even more surprising, the young man in front of him is exactly like Tam Lang. Mon Can hastily shouted Tam Lang, but this person did not know him, got in the car and left. With the car slowly rolling, the scarier backseat is Mrs. Buang and Kim Lin. Mon Can immediately understood. Tam Lang is the reincarnation of Vu Dailang. That year, the two people went back and forth, not for the same time. Mother and daughter because of deep resentment. So was supposed to be protected by a magician. Every 20 years, they will find a reincarnated Tam Lang. But even if Tam Lang is dead, revenge is not necessarily over, because 20 years later, they will come again. As for Tam Lang's body, the mother and daughter had already taken it away. Also follow this cycle of reincarnation, forever not seeing the sun. Seeing such an outcome is truly terrifying. Have you like and follow button?